no goalkeepers, no referees, no substitutes. Does this sound like a football match? So a quick summary of this says that, from 26-27, the FA are launching a new framework, and this framework is about bringing in 3v3 at the under-7 age group, and they will do this so that it gives more opportunity for game time and touches on the ball. And they're also going to tier, when you get to 11v11, you'll have to be at U14 rather than U13. And there's lots of other stuff in between. But essentially, for the younger kids, you're not going to be able to use the current setup you have for 5v5. So different size pitches, different size goals. There's been a bit of a concern about that, though the FA specifically say they'll set up like a support package for teams and clubs, etc. And they clearly summarize the things that are positive, right? So they're going through things like, well, you're going to get a smaller pitch, smaller goals, so it encourages more touches on the ball, opportunities to play, no goalkeepers. We'll come back to that in a second. No substitutes, every child plays. So in your squad size, you would just split them up into mini teams and let them play. If you've got an odd number, play a 3v2, do an overload, underload, depending on the development of that particular group. Shorter games, 6 to 10 minutes, but have multiple games in a morning. And the idea is to have quieter sidelines. And I like that. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work. It should support an improvement, which is, we don't like hearing this nonsense from the sidelines, do we? Where parents shout or coaches think they're some kind of Champions League manager shouting tactical thing from the sidelines. That doesn't work for me. Don't think it's going to get shot of all of it, but I do think it will make it harder for the nonsense to continue, which is a good thing. And all I would say is, if you're on the fence, or if you're worse, if you're like, this is just absolutely madness, I get the change of things could be frustrating at first response, but when you break it down and you look at the positives, it makes sense. A lot of countries doing this already, but break it down further. The simplest way I can explain it, and you can see on here, we're going to use this more in the next couple of videos about formats and formations with youth football from, 3v3 through to 11v11. But just on this basis, on a half pitch, you can get 3v3, 3v3. So on a full pitch, you can get 4 games going concurrently on a 5v5 pitch that it is now, roughly. And, you can get the kids playing constantly in the format that suits you for the day. And what I mean by that format is, you might have 3 or 4 8-minute matches, you might have 6-minute matches, you might have 3 10-minute matches, and you might have 4. But the idea is to get the kids playing all the time. And coming back to the goalkeeper situation, they've got to use the feet, haven't they? So what an opportunity in that first year, being in a part of a team, to work on fundamentals in football, right? You look at your top sort of modern goalies, like your Edisons, your Alisson Beckers, these top keepers in recent times, they're great with the ball at their feet, right? And this is an opportunity still for goalkeepers in my eyes, because it is so important to be a goalie that can use your feet well. And it's not just about saving goals. It's about being a team player and what you can do to lead in the transition of football. For the transition play that Alisson does for Liverpool in the past has been insane, hasn't it? He's got the ball, he's passed it with his feet. He's seen that, had the vision of an outfield player at times. So I think there is positives to take from that. And coming back to the actual real bugbear that you may have about the change, all I would say is, have you played it? Have you tried it? Because we have. I run a sort of football school and help run a community club as well. And, we've got a lot of exposure to lots of training sessions and matches, and I can say it works. We're still doing the 5v5 format on Saturdays, but in training, we practice it. And can the kids self-officiate, which is what the FA are saying will happen? No, they can't perfectly, but you Tell me an official in the Premier League or wherever that can officiate perfectly, or anywhere near that. But they can get by, and with a little bit of help, with some coaches walking between the games, it can work. It just takes a little bit of time. And what you soon find out with doing 3v3 is that the kids really don't have any interest thinking about 5v5 or any other format. They are thinking about playing in the moment. And that's what kids of that age do. They don't overthink things. They just want to play. So all I would suggest is you need to change your frame of mind, because it's on you if it's a problem with the child, because it shouldn't be. The child should just worry about that thing that's pumped up that you kick about, yeah, and have fun. And with that, we can still coach the fundamentals of the game. They're still going to develop. They're still going to have fun. And 3v3 football is a great way to do that. Short, sharp games. You can mix it, as I said. You can do little underloads, overloads, depending on the quality of the teams. And, you know, if you could lose a game 7-0 because you played against a team that was so good. You can mix up the players in the next match and they come out with a win, you know, or a much closer game. You sometimes, unfortunately, in the 5v5 format, if a really strong team has a match against a weaker team, which happens, and leagues get it wrong on countless occasions with the strength of teams, some teams are winning by 20 goals plus, which is ridiculous. It doesn't help anyone. So these short, sharp games, and yeah, you're playing the same team, but you're mixing up the squads. So, you know, if a team had a big game, big win for their 6-7 minute match, you can have a chat with the opposition coach and you can say, look, your guys are a little bit more experienced than ours. Let's do a 3v2 in that match and we'll mix those two players up with these three, and so on. So I think it allows flexibility and adaptability, and I think we've got to give it a go. So if you're really against this, my question is simple. Have you tried it? And if you have and you don't like it, how much have you tried it? Because this isn't going away from 26, 27. It's going to be a format. And I say embrace it. Is it going to be perfect? Is it going to be all plain sailing from here? No. But you're only going to get better at it by doing it. So do it. Practice it. Give it a go. Let us know what you think. I want to know, are you doing it now a lot? What's the pros, the cons, V3 versus 5v5? Do you think you're going to have a logistic nightmare? If so, why? Or on the flip side of that, how did you make it work? And if you've been doing it, as I said, for a long time, really keen to know other things that have made it work. Because in England, at least, for all the thousands of players that are going to start U7 football in 26, 27, it's going to be 3v3. And we've got to get on board for it. And I think it's a great thing because you won't get that player, you know, in a 5v5 match, that goalkeeper that's standing still in the cold, in the rain, not doing much, or the player that really doesn't understand their position in that team. You're not going to get that scenario. You're going to get, in 3v3, you're going to get high pace, you're going to get constant, what I call simplified coaching. You're going to get players that are simply in possession or out possession, running around. How can you coach the two things? Don't worry about the goalkeeper. Don't worry about the tactics of, you know, where your team need to go. Worry about the individual and about what can they do in possession, what can they do out of possession, and the bit in between, the transition, right? If you focus on those simple things, I think you're going to find your players are going to develop really quickly from this. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And next video we're going to follow on from this, and we're going to go into formations across the different age groups, you know, from U7 through to kind of U14, which will be that 3v3 to 11v11 journey. See you soon.